the left-hand end of the pool here, where the 1 meter competition for women is about to start. We'll run through the competitors as they appear. There are 2 from Malaysia, 2 from Indonesia, 1 from Vietnam, 1 from Singapore, with the Malaysians clearly feeling that their divers will prevail. Well, they have done so far. We've had 3 events. And the Malaysians have won all 3. You can see that breeze outside. Certainly if this was a totally open area, it would have a slight effect on for those up high on the board. And you can see the big banner to the right there. It is just moving around a little bit, but the divers are down here at the 1 meter board. So 1 meter springboard for women first, followed an hour and a half later by the men's platform, the 10 meter competition. That looks so inviting, doesn't it? On a warm day, 31 degrees here. Just getting into that beautiful blue, calm, serene looking pool would be quite pleasurable. The judges have been introduced to the audience. There are judges on each side of the pool. That gives you a good indication of how many people are here. They're the judges. There's 7 of them from all parts of the Asian area and from outside. We'll have a look in a moment at the competitors. So yesterday was a grand start to the diving competition with the 3 meter for men and women. The women's won by Ngo Phuong of Malaysia, and the men's by Liang, also from Malaysia. And then the team event was won by Malaysia. So 3 gold medals for them, plus two silver, two silver. Singapore a silver and 2 bronze, and Indonesia 1 bronze. That's the medal tally at the moment in the diving. Now the start list, and this is the order in which they will dive. We have had an amendment to the Malaysian team where Ngo Phuong was down to dive, but now we see Jasmine will be the second diver. Dela Dinarsari Harimurti of Indonesia, Purnama Indah of Indonesia, Ashlee from Singapore, and Ngo Phuong Mai of Vietnam.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 1 meter springboard women. Round 1. Cheong from Malaysia. 403B.
Our first dive. And a woman that all diving fans have come to watch. Cheong Phuong from Malaysia. She is a world champion. She kickstarts the 1 meter springboard. And as is the case, we'll get 2 or 3 replays of each dive, so you can in slow motion see what the judges have tried to judge on in full speed, normal speed. Malaysian coach Yang and Cheong moves away. We've got no scores coming up for you yet, so we have had a few hassles with this over the opening day, so maybe we'll just have a look at the big board. There it goes. 55.2.
Jasmine, Malaysia.
Jasmine Yi. So nice to watch. Quickly through the air as they are. Straight forward, inward 1.5 somersault.
Judges score 6.5.
She held that vertical quite nicely. Was a danger that she might have just over rotated, but a 50.4 for Jasmine Laipui Yi.
Dela Dinarsari from Indonesia.
Dela
2.1.
Dinarsari Harimurti of Indonesia. First dive. Just the entry of that will have annoyed her immensely.
6, 5.
Managed to get the feet together eventually, and then just over rotating.
5.5. Purnama, Indonesia. 203.
Fourth diver, Purnama Indah of Indonesia. Coach always smiling.
Judges score 6.5, 5.5, 6.5, 6.
And quite good scores coming through for this, and clearly there was a problem at entry. The judges going through with it sounded like sixes, and 6.5s are 43.7.
Ashlee from Singapore. 403 2.4.
Ashlee Tan, she's doing the inward 1.5 somersault with pike. Oh, that's not the start the Singaporean wanted. She did get the bronze medal in the 3-meter event yesterday, so we know she's capable of better. Reaching up, getting into the pike, and then just see those, the body just keeps, once it's got a mind of its own sometimes, just kept on going.
Start.
Ngo Phuong 105B, 2.6.
Now this is Ngo Phuong Mai. Pushing out a long way for that forward 2.5 somersault. Out rather than up. Gets nicely into the pike, but then the legs get bent on the way through, whether judges will pick that or not. And eventually the entry is a bit untidy there, so down at 36.4, and she's 5th after the first round. The Vietnamese competition being led by Cheong. So the two Malaysians, 1 and 2. One of the Indonesians, that's Purnama Indah, is in 3rd place.
Round 2. Cheong 203B, 2.3.
Beginning of round 2. Our leader, she gets good height off the board, but didn't finish it well. See, she's got quite a bit of strapping ankles around the back as well, and one of the reasons she's not competing in anything other than the 1 meter is because of some injury problems that she's had since the World Championships in Budapest just a few weeks ago.
Jasmine, 105B, 2.6.
In 2nd place. See the coaches all sitting down alongside each other, a long way back from the end of the board, and that puts her at a disadvantage because the elevation's not so easy to obtain here.
6.5.
So off the board, not her tidiest effort, and nor was the entry to the water. She was 2nd going into this 2nd round.
Dela, Dinarsari, 105B, 2.6. Judges score 5.5, 5.5, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5.
Well, it'd be interesting to see. Sometimes you can read what the
4.5.
problem is here, and sometimes the coaches will just give a little indication. And sometimes they just give the reaching of the arms up, meaning, you know, reach for more height. Just remember that height's so important, the elevation, because some of the dives are quite difficult, and the more time you've got to get through your routine, the better. Here we are, our next diver. Well, I think we might see some movement in the point situation here after the completion of this round.
3.5, 4, 4.5, 4.5.
Indah was 3rd.
4.
She has an overall total now of 72.5. Ashlee Tan.
Ashlee Tan, 105B, 2.6.
There's a wee bit of an improvement there for Ashlee Tan with the forward 2.5 somersaults.
Judges score 7, 5.5, 6.5.
Oh, did we get 7 and then a 5.5? That's quite a discrepancy. But the top two, bottom 2 points come off. Yes, a 7 and a 5.5. Judge 2 giving 5.5 for that. Total of 87.6.
Ngo Phuong Mai, 203, 2.3.
Final dive of the second round. Vietnam gets well off the board. Creates a little splash going in. Let's see how it looks in the slow motion.
Score 6.5.
Really on the vertical, but she didn't make a big splash, and it's a splash that judges notice, of course, as does everyone watching. So she is in 5th place, remains in 5th. Our leader remains in the lead. That's Cheong. Jasmine is in 2. Ashlee Tan has moved up to 3rd. Harimurti, and then our final diver.
Round 3. Cheong 303B, 2.4.
This woman here, Ngo Phuong of Malaysia, really upset the best in the world. The Chinese are the best in the world, of course, in every discipline, but the 10 meters, she won the title in Budapest with spectacular dives off that high board. She upset the Olympic champion, Ren, and then she and Dela won a bronze in the 10-meter synchronized diving. So we won't see her off her favored discipline, the 10, and we're lucky really to see her here at the moment because of the injuries that she's carrying. She really did want to be here and perform in front of her home crowd here in Kuala Lumpur. So Ngo Phuong, our current leader, she completes her 3rd of 5 dives. And now we'll watch Jasmine Yi. It must be fantastic for the Malaysians and the likes of Jasmine Yi to be able to work alongside the woman she's competing against here as one, but certainly others such as Dela and the other younger divers who are coming through. It really is, diving is becoming stronger all the time in Malaysia, and Jasmine Mai Vietnam is in 2nd place.
Dela, Dinarsari, 203B, 2.3.
Not quite as nerve-wracking being on the end of this board as opposed to standing on the solid platform 10 meter. Oh, she springs off well. That's nice. Through the air swiftly. Inward 1.5 somersaults. Here we go.
6.5, 5.5, 6.5, 6.5.
Up, reaching high into the pike.
6.5, 6.
Just a little bit off the vertical there, but a score of 44.8 for Harimurti.
Purnama Indah, 403B, 2.4.
Second of the Indonesians now. She has the inward 1.5 somersault. Dive going through her mind before she takes to the board. Nicely executed. Coach is reasonably happy, it seems.
Judges score 6.5, 6.5, 7, 7.
See 3 of the judges on the far side and 4 on this side, near side. They all put their scores in, and there we have consistently 6.5s and 7, so a 49.2 for Ngo Phuong Mai Indah.
203, 2.3.
Now Ashlee Tan. She's in 3rd place after the 2nd round of dives. As I mentioned earlier, a bronze medal in the 3 meters yesterday. Just over rotation, there's the Singapore coach Shannon Roy applauding, not whistling so much today. I wonder if someone said to him, stop your whistling. But well, we see those feet, the legs need to be together. Hard to spot for the judges on the sides, of course, but there you could see it's a score of 40.25. She remains in 3rd place with this one dive to go.
303B,
Ngo Phuong Mai. Well, it's the 2nd dive in a row in which she's shown little splash at entry. She's doing something right there.
6.5, 5.5, 6.
Let's see in slow motion.
6.
Oh, those legs dreadfully bent. They need to be straight. So much to think about. So she's in 6th place now. After 3 rounds, it's still Cheong Hoong. Jasmine Lee, Ashlee Tan, Dela in 4th place, Ngo Phuong Mai Indah in 5th, and in 6th place, Ngo Phuong Mai.
105B, 2.6.
This woman has won 6 gold medals at previous SEA Games. Really is fantastic that even though she is suffering from a back injury and on the recovery trail, that she wanted to be here to contest the SEA Games. That's certainly not World Championships. She's been to those a few weeks ago, and gosh, the publicity she received back here in Malaysia for her performance over there was remarkable. So the divers, she and Pandalela in particular, and in the men's Oi, who we'll see later on today, just so prominent in sports news here in Kuala Lumpur and Malaysia in general. So Cheong Hoong, and now another of these fine young products from the Malaysian diving regime, Jasmine Yi. Reverse 1.5 somersaults in pike position. So many things. Judges looking at the launch from the board, the approach, the launch. They look for the height. They want to see the pike really nice and tight, legs together, and of course that vertical entry to the water.
Dela, Dinarsari, 2.4. Judges score 6, 5.5, 5.5.
Sometimes the dives look better in slow motion than they do in real time. It's the clasping of the hands. Each divers have different ways of doing that. Some like to put their palms across each other, and she appeared to have almost fist entry. At the end of 3 dives, she was in 5th place. Forward 2.5 somersaults. No. That's we can only say that the Indonesian coach is extremely positive.
4.5.
No scowling, no harsh words. She's got some young divers who she's trying to encourage. Just a nice smile and some applause, and then a few words afterwards. Ashlee Tan now wanting to make sure of at least the bronze medal.
2.1.
Reverse 1.5. Nice and close to the edge of the board. She got that elevation. There goes the whistle. We haven't seen it for a while from Coach Roy.
Judges score 7, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 7.
Series of 6.5s you can hear from the poolside announcer. A score of 40.95. That's 168.8. Diver in 6th place, Phuong Mai from Vietnam. She has the inward 1.5 somersault with pike. Once again, she does very little splashing on that entry. So she gets away nice and smoothly, good elevation, reaching high. Pike's nice and tight. You might well have seen legs slightly askew at entry, but what have we got? Oh, 6 5s and a couple of 7s in there, so 167.8. Very good scoring now, 167.8, so there's very little in this. 206.15 is the lead, 189.30, 168.80, 167.80,
Round 5 and last
164.25.
Cheong 5333D, 2.6.
Well, this is the most difficult dive that she is. Oh no, she had a 2.6 degree of difficulty in the previous one. This is a reverse, 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twists, a lot to get through off the 1 meter board. This is our leader and gold medal favourite. Oh, she saved her best for last. Really appreciative audience here, watching a world champion in action, world champion off the big board, off the platform. And here, competing in just the 1 meter, recovering from injury, she pulls out a very good dive here. This is the best we've seen by far. 8s and 8.5s, 268.55. Stretching that lead that she held right throughout. Now in second place, but well aware that others are challenging, although she has a 20-point buffer, so that should be enough surely to earn Malaysia the silver medal as well. That'll be enough. Not perfect by any means.
Judges score 6-6.
Over rotation, out of the vertical on entry.
6.5, 6.5.
6s and 6.5s, 43.7, so 233.
Dela, Dinarsari.
Now we get into the really interesting part of things. 164.25 for Dela Dinarsari. A spectacular dive here, a very good one, getting points in sort of 7 to 8 region. Could put some pressure on the others who are slightly in front of her in the race for bronze. Oh no, a lot of that dive was good, but the end was not. Into the tuck, and then not enough time to get into the vertical. So she has dropped out of contention for that bronze medal.
Purnama, 4231D, sorry, 5231D, 2.1.
Second of the Indonesians, Ngo Phuong Mai Indah. A dive from her.
Judges score 5.5, 5.5, 6, 6, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5.
So 188.8 for the second of the Indonesians. Now this is the battle. This is the battle for bronze. She has 168.8 points. She's exactly 1 point ahead of Phuong Mai of Vietnam. Oh, she didn't get up high enough. She now has to really wait and see what the Vietnamese can produce with her last dive. Just diving straight out, not really reaching up, legs all over the place. And what are we getting? Some 4s. So Ashlee Tan, the bronze medalist, And the 3 metre yesterday ends up with 197.4 and now must have a nervous wait. 197.4, currently in third.
Ngo Phuong Mai, 4-2.
Phuong Mai Vietnam.
2.5.
She has 167.8. If you hear some even sixes going out in her score, it would suggest that she'll take the bronze medal. Let's see what she can produce with this backward 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twists. Up she goes. That might be enough for her. We'll have to wait and see how the judges viewed this. Not perfect by any means, but it might be enough.
6.
I can hear some sixes.
5.5. 6. 5.
Let's see what she comes up with. 207.8, and that certainly is enough to give her the bronze medal. She needed to produce a good dive at the end, and she's done so. The 1 metre championship, without doubt, the star Cheong Hoong, 268.55, Jasmine Yi, and then Ngo Phuong Mai of Vietnam, 1, 2 and 3 in the women's 1 metre springboard. Yet again, it's Malaysia dominating with the gold and silver. This time it's Vietnam with the bronze medal, the women's 1 metre springboard. And later on this afternoon, we're going to have the 10 metre platform for men, which will be absolutely spectacular. And that's one that this crowd will certainly be eagerly anticipating. They'll want to stay for that later on in the diving competition at the 29th SEA Games. There are 2 diving events today at the National Aquatics Centre in Kuala Lumpur. The first of those was the women's 1 metre springboard. The competition has been completed, and now it's time to formally acknowledge those who finished in the first 3 placings. The medal ceremony. Competition featured 6 divers from 4 countries and featured a new world champion in diving.
Dengan diiringi oleh Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Shahidan Kasim, Minister in the Prime Minister Department and President of Amateur Swimming Union of Malaysia. Ampun Tuanku, ladies and gentlemen, medals will be presented by Duli Yang Maha Mulia, Paduka Seri Sultan Nazrin Muizuddin Shah Al-Makfurullah, Sultan of Perak. Mascot and seedling will be presented by Duli Yang Maha Mulia, Tuanku Zara Salim, Raja
This is
Permaisuri
fantastic
Perak.
that such a big crowd has waited since competition for the medal ceremony, and then they'll
Ladies and
wait for
gentlemen,
another
bronze
40 minutes or so for the next
Vietnam.
competition. She needed a very good dive with her last to capture the bronze medal, and she achieved it. Ngo Phuong Mai of Vietnam.
Ladies and gentlemen, silver medalist, Malaysia, represented by Jasmine.
Diving immediately after, she was second in the lineup and was diving immediately after the champion. This was Jasmine Yi from Malaysia, receiving a silver medal, the associated sapling and mascot.
And ladies and gentlemen, gold medalist and SEA Games champion, Malaysia.
Cheong up in that middle position again, this time at the SEA Games. The last time was at the World Championships in Budapest. SEA Games champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, the 29th SEA Games medalist for the event of women's 1 meter springboard. Congratulations to all medalists.